Section 1. The magic of bulb mode, your gateway to pro-level shots. Have you ever seen those incredible photos of glowing car headlights streaking through a city at night? Or maybe silky smooth water that looks like mist? Chances are, those shots were made using a special camera setting called bulb mode. It sounds technical, but it's actually your secret weapon for taking control of time itself. Bulb mode is a setting on your camera that lets you keep the shutter open for as long as you want, far beyond the standard 30-second limit. This simple function opens up a whole new world of creative possibilities, transforming ordinary scenes into breathtaking works of art. So, why is this mode so useful? In photography, light is everything. When you press the shutter button, you are simply letting light hit your camera's sensor. The longer the shutter stays open, the more light gets in. In very dark situations like shooting a city skyline after sunset, a normal shutter speed just won't capture enough light. By using bulb mode, you can leave the shutter open for 1 minute, 5 minutes, or even longer. This level of control is what separates a simple snapshot from a carefully crafted photograph. In just a few simple steps, you can start creating those same jaw-dropping images you've always admired. Section 2. Gearing up, the essential kit for long exposures. Before you head out into the night, let's talk about the gear you'll need. First and foremost, you need a camera that has a manual, M mode, and of course a bulb, B, setting. You can usually find bulb by turning your shutter speed dial past the 30-second mark. The second absolutely critical piece of equipment is a sturdy tripod. When your shutter is open for many seconds or even minutes, the slightest camera movement will turn your masterpiece into a blurry mess. Don't skimp, a solid tripod is your best friend in long exposure photography. Next on the list is a remote shutter release or a cable release. This little device lets you open and close the shutter without touching the camera. Some remotes are simple, just a button you press to start and press again to stop. Others are more advanced, intervalometers that let you program the exact length of your exposure. If your camera has Wi-Fi, you can often use a smartphone app from the manufacturer to trigger your camera remotely. Let's not forget the lens. While any lens can work, a wide-angle lens is fantastic. Something like a 16 to 35mm or a 24 to 70mm. These lenses let you get a lot of the scene into your frame, great for light trails winding through a landscape. Make sure your lens has a manual focus switch. Utility in D in dir invertistur ina. Abri in do. Yizjo kuldale. Delbrady will definitely need it. Finally, a few small but helpful accessories to consider. A lens hood is great for blocking stray light and unwanted flare. Also, pack an extra battery, especially on a cold night. With your camera, tripod, remote, and lens ready, you have everything you need to start creating amazing long exposure photos. Section 3. Dialing it in, step-by-step camera settings. Now that your gear is ready, let's get your camera set up. The process is straightforward, so don't be intimidated. First, mount your camera securely onto your tripod. Compose your shot, find an interesting scene. Busy intersection, winding road. Once you're happy with the composition, switch your camera's mode dial to manual, M. This gives you full control over all the important settings. Rotate your shutter speed dial until you see bulb appear on your screen. Close-up, camera LCD showing M, bulb, ISO 100, f11 and histogram. You are now officially in bulb mode and ready to control the exposure time yourself. Next, let's set your aperture. The aperture, or f-stop, controls how much of your scene is in focus. For most light trail shots, you want everything to be sharp, from the foreground. Background. A great starting point is an aperture between f8 and f16. This gives deep depth of field, so road and distant buildings are crisp and clear. Narrower aperture reduces light entering the lens. That lets you use a longer shutter speed without overexposing. More time to capture beautiful trails. With your aperture set, it's time to adjust your ISO. Keep your ISO as low as possible. Set it to your camera's base ISO, ISO 100, or ISO 200. Section 4. The creative arena, bringing your vision to life. With all the technical setup complete, the fun begins. Your first creative challenge is capturing classic light trails from cars. Position your tripod in a safe spot overlooking a road with steady traffic. Using your remote, press the button to open the shutter just as a car enters your frame. Keep the shutter open as the car drives through the scene, and then press the button again to close it after the car has exited. A good starting exposure time for this is between 10 and 30 seconds. You'll see the car's headlights transform into smooth, flowing ribbons of light, and the taillights do the same. Red, white, yellow, painting a dynamic path across your static background. After you take your shot, don't just assume it's perfect. The most important tool for judging your exposure is not the image on your LCD screen, but the histogram. The screen can be misleadingly bright in the dark. The histogram, however, gives you an accurate graph of the tonal values in your image. A good histogram for a night shot will have most of the data on the left, shadows, and in the middle, midtones, without a large spike crammed up against the far right edge. If you see a spike on the right, it means parts of your image are blown out or pure white with no detail. If that happens, simply shorten your next exposure time. Another fantastic creative idea is light painting. This works best in a very dark location with no other light sources. Set your camera up on the tripod and have a friend stand in the frame. Only the path of the light itself will be captured, resulting in a truly unique and magical image. A third popular technique is capturing star trails. For this, you'll need a very dark sky, far away from city lights, and a wide-angle lens. Set your aperture to its widest setting like f/2.8 or ff/4, and set your ISO a bit higher, perhaps to 400 or 800. Then, lock your shutter open in bulb mode for a very long time. We're talking 15 minutes or 30 minutes, or even longer. As the Earth rotates, the stars will appear to move across the sky, and your camera will record their paths as beautiful concentric circles or arcs. This technique requires patience, but the final result is nothing short of spectacular. Section 5. Mastering the craft. Quick tips and the path forward. As you get more comfortable with bulb mode, keeping a few final tips in mind will help you consistently get great results. Create a simple mental checklist to run through before every shot. Tripod secure, check. Remote connected, check. Manual focus set, check. ISO 100, check. Aperture set for depth of field, check. This simple routine will help prevent common mistakes. Forgetting to switch off autofocus. Leaving the lens cap on. Pro tip: use your camera's mirror lockup if you have a DSLR. It flips the mirror up before the shutter opens, removing tiny, internal vibrations. One problem you might encounter during very long exposures is stray light leaking in through the viewfinder eyepiece. Cover the eyepiece with the small plastic strap cover, a piece of gaffer tape, or your hat during the exposure. That ensures only light from the lens hits the sensor.